listening to Making Data Simple, where we make the world of data effortless, relevant, and yes, even fun.
Hey folks, welcome to Making Data Simple. Today, this is an interesting one. We've got what I would affectionately refer to as the Intern episode. In fact, that's what we've actually titled it. And with me today, I have Seston, Rachit Sharma, and these two gentlemen, among other people. You wouldn't be amazed at how many people it takes to do a podcast. But these guys are the technical go-to folks on the podcast. They keep everything in working order. Look, welcome, guys. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, Al. It's fun to be on this side of the episode for a change instead of behind the scenes the whole time.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So what do you guys, this isn't your day job, is it? Have I made it your day job? Has this become like 80% of, because I know it's very, very time consuming, but I know you guys wear multiple hats. What is your roles? Could you describe them? Each of you, why don't you go first, Liam?
Yeah, sure. So Ratch and I are both on the DB2 content design team as information developers, and that's a lot of jargon, but really it comes down to we're like technical documentation and content leads for the DB2 product. So anything that's technical, everything from user manuals to videos, Ratch and I kind of create content to just better assist clients and customers who use the DB2 product.
That's right, and just to add on to that, so stuff like Content Hub, the DB2 documentations, we just take care of changing it, editing it, and creating new documentations.
Do you guys kind of wince when you're called interns? This is the intern episode. Do you kind of like, intern? Or do you like, you like the terminology?
Well, I feel like we've been treated pretty well as interns at IBM, but it's kind of like the best of both worlds. We're kind of treated well, but at the same time, if we do something, if we screw up, we can just say we're interns, and it's a get out of jail free card in a way.
I have never heard of it as a get out of jail free card. That gives new credence, or that gives some power to the intern. That means you guys can do whatever you want. You got a get out of jail free card.
Yep, we're just here for 16 months, so come hell or high water, we're out of here.
Well, you leave. What you could stay. You could get a job at IBM. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's actually in our contract. We have to return to school after our 16 months, but yeah, it will. You don't want to ruin our reputation in our 60 months.
So, are you saying you wouldn't return to school if you didn't have that in your contract?
I don't know. School's pretty fun at Queens, so I don't know about that.
How long have you guys been a part of this podcast now?
Well, I've been on since I joined IBM in May 2018, so coming up on 16 months for me.
And as for me, September 2018, so it's been a year for me almost.
So do you guys listen to other podcasts?
Oh yeah, I have a bit of a long commute, so I definitely hop on the podcast. One, I really like Command Line Heroes. I think that's a Red Hat podcast. I just got into that one. They kind of go over, kind of similar to what we offer, I guess. However, they kind of go more into like the history of computer science. They offer kind of technical conversations from like the rise of BASIC and stuff like that. Another one I like more for entertainment is called Our Fake History. Kind of a history podcast that goes into more like kind of myths, pop culture, and history. And also one of my favorites, which has a very similar format to Making Data Simple, is called the Collective Podcast. And it kind of brings on guests, digital art, and music industry, and that's just something that I really love learning more about. So, yeah, that's one of my favorites.
And as for me, how it began, which is more about history and and then science versus it's very scientific, connecting science and fiction. And then let's talk about myths.
Let's talk about myths. You know what? Now I'm going to get on my phone right now. My problem is I try a lot of different podcasts, and then I got to go and purge. They start filling up my because I'm a podcast junkie, no doubt. Just for the listeners, for what I have Invest Ed. It's a good investment podcast that I like. I always listen to Up First. You know, when I'm coming into work or something, it gives you the news within 12 minutes or something like that or less. The Indicator, it's from Planet Money. I've got A16Z podcast, Revisionist History, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. I won't comment. Conspiracy Theories, The Tim Ferriss Show, Invest Like the Best. You can see where my head's at. It's all over the place. I've got ours, of course. And let's see, I got Brand Builder, Historical Figures, TED Talks Daily. I don't even know. Oh, there's 6 more I still got.
Well, actually, before that, I have a question for Al then. So, do you listen to music at all, Al?
I listen to music when I'm working out, but it depends. Okay, so what I typically do is I get up in the morning and I work out, and I will either listen to a podcast or music. It kind of depends on what I'm feeling, but typically it's podcast that wins out. When I jump in the shower or something, then I turn on the music because I can't concentrate. But like if I'm going for a run in the morning, it may take 45 minutes. I'm knocking out at least 1.5 podcasts when I do that, because some of them I like some of the podcasts that are short, like I said, like 12, 15 minutes, and then I've got some longer ones I listen to as well. But anytime I'm in the car, I used to listen to sports radio. So how many times can you listen to sports radio say the same thing over and over and over again? So I haven't turned on sports radio as long as I can remember. It's always learning something in a podcast.
Right.
And in fact, I read a lot of books, but a lot of the books that I quote unquote read are also audiobooks. So like if I'm on the road for a little bit, like if I'm going to get somebody going to the lake or something, 3 hours you can knock out at least probably a half of a book, quarter of a book, something like that. So yeah, I try to use my time effectively, and that's the best way to do it. So it's probably a little bit too much. Yes, I listen to music. That's the answer to the question.
Yeah, I haven't really got into the audiobooks yet. I think I tried it a couple of times and just struggled. I don't know, there's something about having a book in front of you I really like and just reading it.
No, I don't disagree. The only thing is that I'm with you. It's just if I'm if I have the time to have the book in front of me, a lot of times I do that too. I read books as well, paperbacks, but I find that then I'm also working on my computer or something else like that. When I'm in the car, I want to stay off my phone for obvious reasons. So I got to listen to something, and that's why I think it comes into handy. But I will say, to your point, I probably hit rewind or the 15 to 30 second backups like constantly. Like,
oh yeah.
And that's exactly what I realized because I just started doing that recently, and I would realize that I would miss certain stuff, and then I have to keep going back like 30 seconds or so multiple times.
That's why we got to keep these podcasts interesting, or else if you lose the audience, then you start to daydream, right?
Yeah.
Hey, let me change gears on you. Let's talk about some of the internships. Tell us what it's like on being an intern at a big company like IBM.
Well, I know when I first accepted my offer, I was honestly pretty nervous. I'm like, wow, this is big boy at IBM. This is going to be, am I going to have to wear a suit every day or something? But yeah, it's been definitely different coming into IBM. Like, it's definitely not as formal, at least in our roles. We don't have to dress up as much because we're not as client-facing. But I think, I forget who had this quote. I don't want to misquote them, but they said something like, IBM's smallest big company you'll ever meet. And I think that's true to so many extents, because even though it's a company of like almost 400,000 people, it doesn't feel like that. Everyone feels very connected.
Now, Liam, so let me ask you this question. Mm-hmm. How many suits have you worn?
Have I worn?
Yeah.
Well, I think there was like once or twice.
I don't know the last time that I've worn a suit. And I do presentations and keynotes. Today I am sitting with an untucked shirt with jeans and tennis shoes.
Oh man! Well, I remember when you came to Toronto once, I think, for that the 10 May live episode. We all dressed up a little bit for that one, but
All right, that's about it then. Because that was on TV. All right, I got it. All right. What about you, Rachit?
If I've worn suits at work, no, I don't think so. But my experience has been amazing. I got to learn so much about the corporate life, but it was very casual, very the atmosphere is very amazing. Very chilled, but at the same time, lots of learning steps here. I don't think I mentioned it to you, but I've been here for 1 year. I'm actually picking up another position at another location of IBM at Ottawa, and I'll be working as a client-facing technical developer there now.
Is that permanent or is that an internship again?
That's another quick internship. I just wanted to see a different role within the same organization.
Nice.
But it's because it's been amazing. I love it, and for future folks coming in, I would definitely recommend that IBM is one of the top places to work.
I've been at IBM a few years now. I came in through an acquisition, so it's hard to see it with fresh eyes. Now, well, let me ask you, just what's your overall honest impression of IBM as a company?
So every time I mention it to people out there, their eyes just go up like, oh my God, you work for IBM. So like, definitely it's big out there. The first landing on moon, like I'm sure a lot of people don't know, and I discovered it myself. IBM had a big role to play to take people from Earth to moon. So like when you think about the company you work for and they have a big accomplishments like that, it just makes you feel super proud. To me, it feels really super proud to be here.
Yeah, actually, Al, you mentioned you came in through an acquisition, though. I kind of surprised me a little bit because I know Steve Astorino, he's the lab director here in Canada. He also came in through an acquisition. So I'm curious if there's like a percentage behind how many IBMers were acquired.
That's an interesting question. I don't have an answer for you, but I would say it's pretty significant. There's a lot of folks that could come in through acquisitions. I came in through a company called Informix software years ago, and look, at the time, to your point, I said, IBM was huge. I said, I'm never going to be here. But what IBM has allowed me to do is to be an entrepreneur within a big company. It is, there's always challenges. There's big company politics that you got to get through and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's allowed me to really push the envelope, and then you get exposure to all different kinds of businesses that, with a smaller company, you got to go to another business to get that exposure, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's actually one thing with the podcast as well. Like, we have a lot of clients that kind of come on here, so it's really exposed me, at least, just the diversity of who IBM kind of works with, which is always really interesting, I think.
Yeah, I think one of the troubles we have with the podcast, or values, it's both sides of the coin, and that is that we want to get, we want to use like 50-50, 50% clients, 50% IBM, but it's always easy to get IBM just because there are so many different businesses within IBM that you can say, oh, I know somebody, that focus on telecom or the aviation business. You don't even have to walk outside the door to get that, but you don't want it to be overly IBM either. So it's a kind of a gift and a curse at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
So look, has the internship worked? Has it prepared you for your future career goals?
I think so. I feel like just getting our foot in the door at IBM, at a very established company, like it's globally recognized, I think it's done wonders. It's like, honestly, I don't want to just kind of sell IBM because we're on a podcast here, but like it's honestly provided opportunities for me I only dreamed of before. So really thankful of the last 16 months and excited for what the future has to offer.
Well, specific to the internship itself and the expertise or the experience that you gained, I should say, can you name a few different areas that you feel like you came in without and you're walking out with?
Oh yeah, I would just say probably technical confidence. Coming into a technical role, and I wasn't really sure how prepared I would be for something like this, but I would say the biggest thing is just confidence. Knowing that I can kind of come into a company and offer the value that I did to content design is really rewarding.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, it's not just what you learn at work. It's just that the resources you're provided here with. So when I came here, I had no knowledge. Very limited knowledge of data science, or Docker, or machine learning. And then IBM so many resources where you can, I can go to the library, or I can just take the Coursera courses, and they're all free for interns or whoever's working inside. And now I have so many certifications under my belt.
When did what are you guys graduating in anyway?
So I'm doing computer science.
Yeah, computer science. Liam?
Yeah, and I'm a film major, and I'm doing a certificate in law.
So that's interesting that you're in film and you come to work and you're taking a technical role at IBM. Was that expected? Did you?
Yeah, sorry, I get that question a lot. I would say no. I'd say content design has been pretty applicable for film because a lot of what I do is just making videos, and I think my editing experience, and especially for the podcast as well, just the audio-visual experience has been huge and really instrumental to what I've been doing here at IBM. So
maybe we should describe content design just a little bit for the people listening.
yeah, sure. So content design is essentially creating taking technical products and finding the best way to kind of explain them to the client that would allow them to get up and running and learn the product as fast as possible. So for us, that involves working on the IBM Knowledge Center for specifically the DB2 product, and just altering technical documentation on that website for clients to follow and use in their own settings. And
I would say it's like a bridge from technical side to the client, so they can understand the background information that's happening a lot more easily.
Nice. Anything about the internships or being an intern or anything that we haven't said that you'd like to make a comment on?
Yeah, I think the one thing I really appreciate too is the snacks that we get for free now. So, so that's been awesome. That changed during
if you're
our
listening,
internship,
folks,
so.
it's all about the snacks and the free stuff. Okay, I got it.
And I would just like to add, like as a new intern applying for the very first time, just be open-minded, apply to a lot of places, and just work hard. Because when I first applied, I had to apply to a lot of places. Like my first time applying, it's because it's very hard to get your first internship, and then after that, it's like a domino effect. So my first experience was applying to more than 100 places and doing only like 10 interviews. So it's like that 1-to-10 ratio.
All right, great. I think we hit that piece too. Look, I want to finish with, my famous lightning round. I know, Liam, you're scared.
Oh boy, yeah.
As you should be.
Yeah, there's some questions in here that always throw me off. I'm always curious how you would answer these, Al, but
the great news is I don't have to. That's the great news.
Oh man.
Maybe before you leave, when do you guys leave?
August 30th is our last day.
30th.
Wow, this is like right around the corner.
Yeah.
Damn.
But I'll be working remotely on the podcast until April, so maybe we can do an episode where I interview you, Al.
I knew that's where you were going. All right. Yeah, people don't need to know any more about me. That's all I know. All right, so look, this is gonna be a little different because it's always different for everybody, but for you guys, certainly it's gonna be different. I don't know if this is a lightning round or not, but I'm going to go with my questions here that are in my head. So do you guys consider yourselves millennials?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, but millennial is, technically, there's no perfect date. But technically it's like since 1997 and beyond. Is it not?
Well, I'm 1996.
See, that's what I asked.
Yeah, I've heard, I know, I guess technically we're Gen Z or whatever it is, but I don't know. I've heard so many references to our kind of age group being millennials, like amongst friends. So
I think we're a little bit of both. Like for me, I'm 1995, but I think I would say I'm a little bit of both.
So describe. Do you think millennials is a good term? Do you think it gets a bad rap? Do you think it's a good rap? What do you think about the overall term? Because it's used extensively. Those damn millennials. You know what I mean?
I'm always referring to those damn baby boomers, but
Of course you are. Of course you are. See, I'm not a baby boomer. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, that's like 1945 or something, right? I think.
1946. I think it's 1946 to 64. I mean, I don't know who makes up this stuff. But, yeah, whatever. So the bad rap that millennials get are like the generation of me. You think that's BS?
I mean, a little bit. I don't know. I thought millennials was always used in context just like maybe technology awareness or just what's current with the times. I kind of feel like I'm older than my typical friend group is like. I don't know. Like my interests are usually predate myself, but I don't know. What do you think, Ratchet?
I think it's the same thing. Like when someone refers millennials, I personally think it's more about being tech savvy. Like I feel like I just got introduced to technology very early in life, and I can, like, for example, I can use internet a lot more efficient than someone who's not a millennial. Like, for example, someone who was born before millennials.
So sociologist Kathleen Chaputis, I think is her name, She says that you guys are the Peter Pan generation, meaning that you have a perceived tendency for delaying some rites of passage into adulthood for longer periods than most generations. In other words, you're living off your parents.
Well, I'd say that's definitely true. I mean, housing market isn't helping that at all. So,
like especially in Toronto, like I personally I do live with my parents, save some money right now. So that is very true because her rent is very expensive.
Look, I think there is no harm or foul in that. If I could still live with my parents, I would. Let's be honest. Just think of that. No bills. I'd have a really nice car. I think I'd have a really nice car if I did.
I'm still being fed, not paying utilities. I mean,
this is the greatest.
Right now. Yeah.
So maybe you guys are just the smartest generation then. I don't know. I don't see that as the negative. So here's the common traits that I hear. Tech savvy. All right, you hit it, Rachit. Family centric. Well, you're at home. And you're right.
Yes.
The economy is not helping, or at least the cost of housing and cost of schooling is not helping you any. Achievement oriented and feedback seeking, meaning you like to get praise for what you do. True? Not true?
Very true.
Oh yeah, very true.
True, very true. Yeah.
Here's one: job hopping.
Well,
that could be true
could be
because
true.
personally, I think my friends, especially in tech industry, they kind of get bored very easily. And they like to go check out new stuff all the time. Hasn't happened with me yet, but that's what I've seen, like the pattern.
You don't agree, Liam?
I don't know. I wouldn't say for myself. I find once I get into a role, I find the only way I can really have a positive impact is just by commitment. So, and that just, kind of leaves job hopping out of the question.
Well, so, I mean, in your defense on the job hopping piece, like my parents used to have pensions and stuff like that. Those are gone. So I think it leaves the door open more for a tendency to go for the best deal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Fair enough. And the last one was team-oriented. That's probably true, yeah?
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
Yes.
Rachit, what is your number one role model today? Yeah, not related to you.
So that's a very interesting question. When you say that, nothing pops in my head. But one person that I can really look forward to is Warren Buffett. It's because for like as you said, millennials, it's very hard to save money, right? And I started getting into a little bit of investing, learning more about it. That's a problem everywhere, and you can only really increase your money or save money if you just make better investments. Just for example, a lot like my friends tend to do a brand new BMW, and for me, I'm driving a Honda, so that's a sacrifice I had to make because later on, I see myself doing different things. I'm like, if I save some money now, make better use of it, later on down the road, I might be able to achieve different goals that I'm picturing right now. So it's more like a marathon, not really like a race at this point. So I would say that's a trick question, Warren Buffett right now.
Nice. What about you, Liam?
For me, for role model outside of family, I would definitely still say Steve Jobs. I read his biography by Walter Isaacson a few years ago, and he still just strikes me as like one of the most inspiring people.
Very good. All right, so I'm going to end with this or that. This is the adult version of Would You Rather. I'm going to go down the list. I'll start with you, Liam, and then I'm going to go to Rachit, and we'll go back and forth, all right?
All right,
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, Liam, data or AI?
AI.
All right.
Data.
All right. Data. Oh, that's interesting. You guys are at opposite ends of the spectrum. All right, Rachit, WebEx or Zoom?
WebEx.
I'm going to go with Zoom. Audio quality is a bit better.
You guys might want to, get a beer together or something to reconcile. All right. Liam, Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram by far.
Definitely Instagram.
Yeah, I'm
Might
sure.
be another millennial trait. We're growing a hatred for Facebook. Like a lot of
Why is
millennials
that?
hate
Tell
Facebook.
me in 20 seconds or less, why is that?
Well, I think probably all the mistreating data campaigns that Facebook is kind of plagued with right now is not too pleasing to hear, but just usage. There's a lot of ads all over Facebook. It's not nice to use. I don't like using Facebook, and Instagram is kind of a home for, great pictures and sharing life stories. So I definitely like using Instagram a lot more.
Yeah, personally stories as well, but also my parents are on Facebook now.
So I see it. You want to get away from your parents. Well, you do realize that Facebook owns Instagram.
Yes,
Yep.
that's true.
All right. Okay, Liam, phone calls or texting?
Phone calls.
Phone calls.
What?
I like talking. I like because there's a better setting of tone there. Text, you can't really set a tone.
Yeah, you can get more information out of a phone call. Like my friend said this the other day too. We can't text each other because we're busy during the day, but when we have a moment to actually call each other, we can just get so much more out of that time.
Jesus, you guys must be the exception to the rule because my kids do nothing but texting. It's ridiculous. All right, I don't know who I'm on. I'm gonna go with you, Ratchet. iOS or Android?
iOS.
iOS for me too.
Yeah, you're Steve Jobs boy. I already got that.
Yeah, the Apple fanboy.
Liam, reading or audiobooks? We are probably already.
Yeah, reading. I haven't done the audiobooks yet.
All right, Ratchet. Working hard or playing hard?
A little bit of both.
Now you got to answer one.
Working hard.
All right.
Playing hard.
I'm going to play hard too. Liam, maple syrup or Canadian bacon?
Oh man, now you're really tearing me apart here. I'm gonna go with Canadian bacon. Yeah.
Maple syrup.
We call it pea meal bacon up here. I'm not sure if that's used down there, but.
I thought I was trying to be original because you guys are good.
Yeah.
All right, Ratchet. Intern at IBM or somewhere else?
Definitely intern at IBM.
Yeah, will I get fired if I say the other thing, or?
No, it's all free. It's all.
Still IBM intern.
All right, for both you guys, any advice for me as I continue on without you guys?
I would just say, I mean, it sucks that we're leaving, but don't be too sad because our paths might cross later on again.
Yeah, don't be too depressed in those first few episodes we're away.
I might be. I'm gonna say, what the hell's going on here? Everything's gonna fall apart. We got good people coming in. All right, I'll end with this. I've got to run just like you guys, but is there anything that you guys, one thing you wanted to ask me that you never got the chance to ask me, and before we break, this is your chance.
Yep, I have one.
That's what I worried about.
So my question to you was, when you were in your early 20s, what were you thinking? What was your mindset, and how can you compare that to your mindset right now?
The way I'd answer that, I would say compared to where I am now, I was in a much more of a fixed mindset, no doubt about it. When you're younger, when you come out of school and stuff, you feel like you know it all. I've got this all figured out. I'm going to go rock the world. And that's all good traits, I guess. But it really, you come out with a fixed mindset. If you ever read Carol Dweck's book, that's one you guys should read. It's called Mindset. And it talks about how to open up the fact that, admitting that you don't know the answers is the first key to learning, because then, and being very vulnerable. And I would say, as I've gotten older, I love to learn. I'm free to admit when I don't know something because I think I learn more. I think people respect that. You got to be vulnerable to do it. But I think it's the key to success.
Perfect. Thank you.
My question is, what's something that's true but everyone disagrees with you with?
You can't ask my questions on me.
It's too good. I have to.
What's true that everyone disagrees with me on that? I've actually got quite a few of them. I'm trying to figure out. When I asked somebody this earlier, one of the answers they gave me I thought was unbelievable. That was really good. The guy quickly answered, and you probably remember this. He'd worked for Obama, and he answered, "Bureaucracy is good. It's got to happen." And not everybody would believe. I said, "Hell yeah, nobody's going to believe that." That was the best answer that I'd received on this.
Yeah, Philip Reiner.
What's true that no one else agrees with me on? I don't know. I got some folks that I'm not going to have a good enough or that answer that I just gave you. That was a perfect answer because I don't think anybody agrees with it. I would go back to my last comment. I think you've got to be vulnerable. Although I think some people would agree with me. I don't think as many people do it that would even agree with me though. In other words, you've got to be willing to admit your mistakes so then you can learn. So the bottom line is I think you've got to be very vulnerable and be comfortable being vulnerable and take your armor off and I think once you do that, and you practice and like this will sound kind of awkward, but like you don't care so much. You do, but you don't care what people think about you, and things will start working out for you. In other words, you'll put yourself out there, you'll take risks, and you're always rather than have the armor on, I think things tend to work out in your favor. That'd be my answer. Not a very good answer, but you got me on the last one. That was a good one.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you on that one, but I think the number of people who actually practice that might be different. But yeah, I'll take it.
What I would say is that that's exactly it. I would say that people may agree verbally or in principle, but the folks, just measure the folks that actually do it. That's the goal.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Hey, thank you guys for being on the podcast. You've been great as usual. Thank you for all you've done for this podcast and producing it. I hope you're transferring all the knowledge you have to the new folks, or we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, we're working on
for sure.
But yeah, thanks, Al. This was a lot of fun.
All right. You guys
thanks for having us.
Good luck. Keep in touch.
Thanks for listening to the Making Data Simple podcast, where we make data fun. Be sure to visit IBMBigDataHub.com/podcasts to access the show notes and uncover even more great episodes. Remember, the views expressed here are those of the host and its guests, and do not necessarily represent the views of IBM. Until next time, over and out.